In this short clip, we're just going to have a look at how a while loop works in C. And a while loop is a way of getting code to repeat for a certain number of times, which is different to an if statement, which allows you to decide whether the next block of code should be executed or not. So in this particular example, I'm just going to use a while loop to print out numbers from 1 to 10. So here I've set up an integer variable num, which has been assigned the value of 1, and then my while loop is constructed a bit like an if statement would be. So I've got the word while, and then within circular brackets I've got the condition that needs to be true for the code within the curly brackets to be executed. So the other thing that's important in a while loop is it usually has, unless it's an infinite loop, it usually has the last line tends to be something which forces the condition of halting to get nearer. And what I mean by that is as this while loop runs, num gets 1 added to it, so the value of num changes and gets towards 10, and when it reaches 11 it's going to stop running and come out of the loop and then run this particular section of code. The printf statement is just very straightforward, so we're basically printing a number, a decimal number, and the number it's going to print is whatever the value of num is. So we start off with the value of num as 1. The program evaluates to see whether this condition is true. If it is, it will then print out the value of num, which will be the first line. It'll say is the number is 1, and then it will add 1 to num, then come back and check the condition again, and then repeat this a set number of times. So when we run this, we then get the numbers from 1 to 10 printed out. So the best way to get your head around while loops is to maybe change the value that it starts off with. So maybe start off with 100 and then change the condition, and then maybe rather than adding 1, take away 2 every time. That's one of the things you could experiment with. The other thing that you can do is before you print num, you could multiply it by, let's say, 6, in which case it will print out the 6 times table up to whatever value you've stated here. So those are the sorts of things that a while loop is useful for, and it only ever executes if the expression that's within these brackets evaluates to true.